Captain Hayes blocked Brenda's path with military precision. "Ma'am, this is a restricted area." His voice carried absolute authority as he eyed the woman in her 40s, blonde hair tied back, simple clothes. Just another mom, he thought. "I'm sorry, Captain, I was trying to get closer to see my son's graduation," Brenda replied with a polite smile. "The family viewing area is back with the grandstands," Hayes stated, his tone suggesting she should have known better. When she turned to leave, he stepped sideways, blocking her again. "I need to see your visitor's pass." Brenda's calm didn't waver as she retrieved the folded paper from her purse. Hayes examined it with theatrical scrutiny, holding it to the light as nearby families slowed to watch the confrontation. "Brenda Lowe," he read aloud, skepticism dripping from his voice. "You're here for recruit Adam Lowe." He paused deliberately. "We have to be very careful on this secure military installation." "I understand. I was stationed here briefly, long ago. I know the protocol," she said evenly. This irritated him further. The notion that this civilian woman had any military connection seemed preposterous. Stationed as what? A contractor? A spouse? "Neither," Brenda answered simply. Hayes's patience snapped. "With all due respect, ma'am, I've given you a lawful order to return to the viewing area. If you fail to comply, I will have you escorted by the Provost Marshal's office." The threat hung in the humid South Carolina air as onlookers gathered. Brenda felt the familiar sting of public humiliation. She just wanted to see her son become a Marine without causing a scene. "Captain, I heard your order." "I am complying. There's no need for threats," she said, her voice low and reasonable. "It's not a threat, it's procedure," Hayes countered, chest puffing out. "Frankly, your attitude is concerning. I need government-issued photo identification, your driver's license." Brenda sighed internally but complied, producing her wallet. Hayes took the license and began a meticulous comparison. Her face, the license, her face again. It was pure theater, a power play designed to make her feel small and out of place. "Why were you really down this path?" he pressed. "This leads to student barracks and the regimental command post. It's the last place a family member should be wandering." "I made a mistake. I apologize." "I'm not sure I believe that," Hayes said darkly, convinced he'd uncovered some minor plot. He motioned to a passing lance corporal. "Stand by. This individual may need to be escorted to PMO." The public humiliation intensified. Brenda's neck flushed hot. Her son was about to graduate, and here she was being shamed by an officer who couldn't see past her civilian clothes. A flicker of old anger sparked within her. "Captain, you are making a serious mistake," she said, her gentle tone evaporating for the first time. Her shift only solidified his resolve. "The only mistake was you leaving the grandstands." He reached out and firmly grasped her forearm. "We're going to take a walk." As his fingers closed around her arm, the sleeve of her blue top slid up several inches. That's when he saw it. On her wrist was a stark tattoo in professional black ink, a caduceus with twin snakes coiled around a K-bar fighting knife. Below it, precise lettering read, "Phantom Fury, November 14th, 04. Hayes stared at the ink, his surroundings blurring. For a split second, the humid Carolina air became the bone-dry chill of desert night. Salt marsh scent vanished, replaced by dust, cordite, and iron. He heard phantom echoes of gunfire and the desperate cry every Marine fears and prays for, "Corpsmen up!" The vision was from a legendary battle fought when he was still in high school. Stories of a downed Marine, mangled leg, and swift hands working in darkness, stopping bleeding, saving life. The image vanished as quickly as it came, leaving him standing on hot asphalt, hand still on her arm, mind reeling. 50 yards away, Gunnery Sergeant Evans managed crowd control near the parade deck. a career Marine whose face mapped deployments and whose posture matched the flagpole's rigidity. He noticed the escalating confrontation. Hayes was a good but zealous young officer, prone to viewing the world through regulation manuals. Dressing down a civilian mother on graduation day was poor form, bad optics for the Corps. Evans was about to intervene when he saw Hayes grab the woman's arm and her sleeve ride up. Even from 50 yards, his trained eyes caught black ink on her wrist. He squinted, focus sharpening. He saw the shape, knife, snakes. A profound jolt went through him. It couldn't be. He started walking with measured urgency, eyes locked on the tattoo. Close enough now, he read the words, Phantom Fury. Evans stopped dead, blood running cold. He knew that tattoo. He'd only seen it once before in a faded photograph at a VFW hall on the arm of a grizzled first sergeant who spoke of it in hushed reverence. It wasn't official insignia, it was something more sacred, a blood pact, a mark of survival and immense gratitude, given only to a handful of Navy corpsmen who served with a specific Marine unit during Iraq War's deadliest house-to-house fighting, the mark of a legend. He looked from tattoo to woman's calm face to Hayes's arrogant certainty. Evans felt cold dread. Hayes wasn't just making a mistake, he was committing sacrilege. Without hesitation, Evans pulled his phone and bypassed the entire chain of command, dialing the depot sergeant major's personal cell, a number he'd used only twice in his career. Sergeant Major, this is Gunny Evans at the parade deck. Sir, I apologize for the direct call, but we have a situation requiring immediate attention. It's Captain Hayes. He's got a civilian guest detained. Evans paused, steadying his breath. Sergeant Major, it's Doc Lowe. Stunned silence followed. Evans could almost hear gears turning in the old warrior's mind, connecting name to legend. Are you certain, Gunny? I'm looking at the K-bar caduceus on her wrist right now, Sergeant Major. It's her, and Captain Hayes is about to put her in cuffs. Keep him there, the Sergeant Major ordered, voice like flint. Do not let him move her. The Colonel is on his way. The line went dead. Inside the Paris Island Command Building, Colonel Thompson received the Sergeant Major's message and felt disbelief jolt through him. Doc Lowe, Brenda Lowe is on my depot right now. His voice sharpened as he motioned to his aide. Get me the file for Hospital Corpsman Second Class Brenda M. Lowe, Navy Archives. Yesterday. The Major flew to her computer, pulling records from secure servers. A service photo appeared, a much younger Brenda, navy cover framing her face, eyes clear and fiercely determined. Then citations loaded, Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal, Purple Heart, and the Silver Star. The Colonel and Sergeant Major read the citation in stunned silence. For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action against the enemy while serving as hospital corpsman for 3rd Platoon, Kilo Company, 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines, during Operation Phantom Fury in Fallujah, Iraq, November 14, 2004, when a rocket-propelled grenade struck their building's 2nd floor, collapsing the roof and wounding 6 Marines. Petty Officer Lowe, with complete disregard for her own safety, charged through enemy machine gun fire into unstable rubble. For 3 hours, she moved from casualty to casualty, shielding them with her body while applying life-saving treatment. She single-handedly held direct pressure on a severed femoral artery for over an hour, refusing relief until the wounded Marine could be evacuated, an action that directly saved his life. Her extraordinary courage, zealous initiative, and total dedication to duty reflected great credit upon herself and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Naval Service. Beneath the citation were after-action reports and personal testimonies from Marines, now sergeants major and lieutenant colonels, calling her the Angel of the Block. They spoke of her running into gunfire to retrieve medical kits, her calm voice in chaos, her refusal to leave anyone behind. The sergeant major whistled low. "Holy hell, sir! It's really her." Colonel Thompson's face hardened to stone. "She is a guest at my command, about to watch her son graduate, and one of my captains has her detained roadside." He looked at the sergeant major, eyes blazing. "Get the command vehicle, now. Tell Gunny Evans to hold the line." Back on the path, Hayes had interpreted Brenda's cold statement as a challenge. Completely oblivious to the tectonic plates shifting beneath him, he saw the tattoo as meaningless. Bootleg wannabe art, more proof this woman was problematic. "A mistake, ma'am. The only mistake was mine, thinking you'd listen to reason." He gestured to the lance corporal. "Get flex cuffs from the vehicle." To Brenda, "I'm officially detaining you for trespassing on a federal installation and failure to obey a lawful order. You'll be transported to the provost marshal's office. Your son can hear about his mother's arrest after he graduates." It was the final arrogant overreach. The threat to her son, the public humiliation, the sheer blindness of it all pushed her past the point of no return. Brenda didn't flinch, simply held his gaze with profound, ancient disappointment. "You really have no idea what you're doing, do you, son?" A silent storm arrived. A black, immaculate command vehicle with a colonel's eagle on the bumper pulled up soundlessly. Its presence alone commanded more attention than any alarm. Doors opened in unison. Out stepped Colonel Thompson, the base commander, flanked by the depot sergeant major and the female major. They moved with synchronized, predatory grace, eyes fixed on the scene. They completely ignored Hayes. Their focus locked on one person, Brenda Lowe. The crowd fell silent. The air crackled with inexplicable tension. Hayes froze, hand still on Brenda's arm, mouth half open, world tilting on its axis. Colonel Thompson walked directly to Brenda, stopping exactly 3 feet away. He looked at Hayes's hand on her arm, eyes narrowing with such cold fury that Hayes snatched it back as if burned. Then the colonel did something that shattered the captain's reality. He snapped his heels together, back ramrod straight, and rendered the sharpest, most formal salute Hayes had ever witnessed. A salute reserved for Medal of Honor recipients, visiting generals, legends. "Doc Lowe." The colonel's voice boomed across the silent space. "It is an absolute honor to have you aboard Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Paris Island." "Ma'am." Confused murmurs rippled through the crowd. Hayes's face went white as the sergeant major and major also rendered perfect, respectful salutes. The colonel remained at attention, turning his head to ensure his voice carried to everyone, especially Hayes. "For those who don't know, this woman is a Navy Silver Star recipient. She's not just a guest. She's a hero to this institution." He looked directly at Brenda with deep, genuine respect. On November 14, 2004, in Fallujah, then Petty Officer Lowe ran through enemy machine gun and rocket fire to save 6 wounded Marines from 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines. She treated them alone, under fire, in a collapsed building for 3 straight hours. The colonel's voice grew stronger, each word hammering Hayes's ignorance. "The Marines of Kilo Company call her the Angel of the Block. They credit her with saving the entire platoon. The K-bar and caduceus on her wrist is a mark of honor given by the Marines she saved. A mark of honor, Captain, that you dismissed and disrespected." Across the parade deck, Brenda's son, Adam, standing in formation, saw the commotion. He watched the highest-ranking officer salute his mom. The watered-down, humble stories she'd told him suddenly felt like vast understatements. The crowd was utterly silent, faces showing awe and dawning comprehension. They were witnessing quiet, unassuming greatness. Colonel Thompson turned his icy gaze upon Hayes. voice dropping to a low, lethal growl far more terrifying than any shout. "Captain, you will report to my office at 1500 hours. Bring a pen and notebook. We're having a long discussion about leadership, judgment, and the mortal sin of failing to recognize a giant standing right in front of you. You looked at a decorated combat veteran, a hero of the Corps, and saw an inconvenience. You failed to observe, orient, and decide. You just acted on arrogance and assumption. Dismissed." Hayes stood paralyzed, face showing dawning horror and shame. I, sir." Brenda stepped forward. "Colonel, with respect, sir, the captain was attempting to enforce security protocols. The rules aren't the problem." She looked at Hayes, gaze instructive rather than accusing. "The problem is the assumptions we make before applying the rules. We're taught to see the uniform, not the person, but sometimes we need to learn to see the person even when the uniform has been put away. The title is earned forever." A final vivid image flashed through her mind, not the battle but the quiet aftermath. She sat in a dusty tent, hands stained with blood and dirt. A burly Marine sergeant, arm in a sling, held a sterilized K-bar tip dipped in ink, carefully etching the design onto her wrist. He didn't say much. He didn't have to. The quiet intensity, the respectful silence of other survivors said it all. Their way of saying thank you, their way of making her one of them forever. The graduation proceeded, but the atmosphere had changed. News spread through crowd and ranks like wildfire. Brenda was escorted to the seat of honor by the colonel himself. When Adam's platoon marched by, he caught his mother's eye, his face showing overwhelming awe and profound new understanding of the quiet woman who raised him. Later at the reception, a humbled Hayes approached her, posture no longer arrogant but deferential. "Ma'am, there's no excuse for my behavior. I was arrogant, unprofessional, and wrong. I am truly, deeply sorry." Brenda looked at him. Really looked, and saw not a villain but a young officer who'd learned a hard, necessary lesson. "Apology accepted, Captain. Let me give you advice. Before you check a person's ID, pass, or insignia, look them in the eyes first. You'll learn a lot more that way." In following months, a new training module was quietly introduced for all junior officers at Parris Island, focusing on veteran and family interaction, emphasizing situational awareness and the danger of assumptions. It was never officially named after the incident, but everyone knew where it came from. A small institutional course correction, a seed of wisdom planted on a hot day on a paved path. Brenda Lowe's story reminds us that heroes rarely announce themselves. Their valor isn't written in headlines, but in lives they saved, in quiet respect earned in the crucible of conflict.